Hear that? God's presence does not overwhelm your will. If you got a will to go to the left, God's presence is not going to overwhelm your will. Why? Because he's not a forceful God. He's a God that wants us to love him with our will. And God can use a person of faith in spite of his or her mistakes. So those of you that, just feel a certain type of way, you're kind of down on your faith, and you feel like, well, I'm doing this, so I don't really need to be doing this in the church, and I don't need to be doing that in the church. How many of you know that he is a merciful God? He's a forgiving God. And just because you are doing things that you know that has you tied up, tangled up, and wrapped up doesn't mean that you cannot come to church. And it does not mean that you can't work for the Lord, because sometimes in your mess, if you do the talent that God has put down on the inside of you, you can break free. When you start working for the Lord, you can break free when you start coming around the people of God. Because when you come into the house of God, we are positive people. The power of the Lord is here. The power of the Lord is real. And there is no power on earth that's greater than the power of God. So don't ever feel like something has you so wrapped up and tied up and tangled up that you can't get free. If you can press your way to the house of God, that is your first step to getting free. And we can do the rest because we're the doctors and the nurses, and Jesus has already diagnosed the problem. And when you come up in here, somebody is packing with power. Yes, I can speak for myself, because see, I know that Jesus is here because I brought him with me. Now, I know I'm not the only one that brought Jesus with you. But since you brought him with you, when people come in, no matter what you're into, because there's no sin that God cannot forgive unless you blaspheme against him. And regardless of what you're doing, he loves you. So we have David. And we know that David, he conquered a giant named Goliath. And we got some giants in our life. All of us got giants in our life. And some of us are struggling with those giants. And we need to conquer these giants. And David was not a big man in stature. If you read the Bible, he was small in stature. But he conquered his giants. And David had some strength, and he had some accomplishments because he was a great king of Israel. He was the ancestor of Jesus. And he was also listed in the Hall of Fame, Hebrews the 11th chapter. And he was a man described by God himself as a man after his own heart. God's heart. Well, David had some weaknesses and he had some mistakes, and most of us know about David's mistakes because he was that man that committed adultery with Bathsheba. And he didn't only commit adultery with Bathsheba, but every time you turn around, David was with a woman. So he was constantly doing that. And he had some wickedness down the inside. Although he was a man of God, he arranged the murder of Uriah. That was Bathsheba's husband, because he saw something that he wanted. And because he was King David, he felt like, well, I can have this. But how many of you know that you can't have what you want if it doesn't belong to you? So when you go after something that doesn't belong to you, it's not going to work out for you anyway, because that's not yours. And so when David went after Bathsheba, yeah, he got it, but it didn't work out for him. Because Bathsheba didn't belong to him. She belonged to Uriah, the husband that he killed. And he directly disobeyed God in taking a census of the people. That was a simple job. Just to take the census of the people, and he disobeyed God. I'm not going to ask you how many of you have disobeyed God, because the answer is we all have at one point or another in our life, because we felt like we knew more at the time. Just like children, they disobey their parents. because they want to, or they feel like we don't know what we're talking about. So we have done the same thing when it comes to Jesus. And then he did not